Well, good morning. I just got the bottom cleaned from a guy here in West Palm Beach. He actually gave me a really good deal, less than $3 a foot. And, my boat's over 42. It's actually 43 on paper, but if you measure it, it's less than 43. So the bottom's all cleaned, had some barnacles on it. The prop was fouled with barnacles, and also it was stuck. It's a folding prop, so it was stuck. So as soon as I get organized here, I'll probably lift anchor and just take a little jolt around the anchorage just to see if I can spin up over 2,000 RPMs, because I should be easily getting over 25,000 RPMs with that prop. I never had any problems before, but it was, he says it was very dirty. And he said the leading edge of the paint is gone on the keel, which is typically, I guess, normal on a blade of paint. But there's still paint left on the rest of the boat. He says it was in good condition. He says the keel is in good condition. And he commented that the joint between the keel and the hull was in great condition. He says a lot of these Beneteaus have rusted keels in that joint. Once it starts leaking, you get a lot of corrosion in there. This boat has so many coats of the barrier coat, that Interprotect 2000, so that really seals up the hull. I don't know, there must be over 6, maybe even 8 coats of Interprotect on this boat. A little on the excessive side, but the previous owner decided to do 4 or 5 coats, and then I did maybe 2 coats, roughly 2 or 3 coats. So what else? And then last night I thought, well, maybe I'll just check the lighting on the boat, check to make sure the bow light and the stern light were lighting up. You need that when you're sailing at night. The stern light seemed to be fine, and then the bow light was really dim. So I got my my voltmeter out this morning and measured the voltage, and it was like 6 or 7 volts. So there's a problem, and it's not an LED issue; it's voltage. So I checked the fuse panel and just reseated the fuse. There's these type of fuses you just pull them, put back in, and that corrected the problem. So I guess a little bit of jiggling or whatever, corrosion, and your bulbs or your fuses kind of get loose or get corroded or whatever. But that's what I noticed, is just reseat the fuse and problem fixed. So that's good. Now I have nice strong lighting on the boat. Other than that, I'm using a weather router, a Chris Parker. So I was looking for a window to go to, what's it called? St. Mary's, which is in south part of Georgia. So I could probably do that in 30 hours. But then again, this morning I looked at the weather and then asked him if I could make it all the way to Moorhead. I need about a 3-day window for that, and he seemed to think I could get there. There didn't seem to be any issues. Worst case scenario, if I do, the wind does back around and I don't, I've got wind on the nose, I could always go into Wrightsville Beach, or there's other inlets that I could probably escape to if I just head northwest. Can find something. So I'm seriously thinking maybe I'll just head on to Moorhead now. If I don't get to Moorhead, I'll be stuck in St. Mary's for probably a week, and it doesn't look like there's much going on in St. Mary's. I don't really want to be stuck there. Once you go north of Florida, it's pretty bleak in the inlets. Just small towns, and I'm sick of it. So try and get north. An update I looked at from the Erie Canal was there is canals going to be opening soon, at least by the 4th of July. But the canal that I need is forked off of the Erie Canal, which is the Oswego Canal. And what they're saying now is there's a set of locks. I think it's 0 to 7 or 0 to 8. Those are locks I need to go through, and they're not opening on July 4th as of the last update. So I can't trust that opening in time. So once I get to New York, probably anchor around Sandy Hook, and then reevaluate the situation, and probably worst case scenario is just hire a truck to truck the boat back to Lake Ontario. I don't know how many miles that is, but I did get an estimate to truck the boat from Florida to Lake Ontario on the Canadian side, and it was like, I think it was 17,000 US. So that's not worth it. But from New York, it might be a little more reasonable. So I'll be looking into that once I get to New York. All right. Well, have yourself a great day.